Yuri bros, I don't feel so good right now.
Ooh. Are we over? So is it over?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Goodbye Lara episode review. I am Phenom Sage. I am joined by Otaku Box, otherwise known as Brian, and Mickle Pickle. How are you guys today? How did you like the episode? Are we doomed? Is our Yuri done?
It might be Yuri over, but who's to say?
I'm feeling a little defeated. Today.
It's because you were really invested in the Yuri angle, right, Mickle?
Always. And when you have a show that looks this pretty, it's like, finally, something that we can glaze about now. You know, we don't have to let series like Citrus define us. There are better shows out there.
Yeah.
But look, I think we all kind of saw this coming in a way. But that being said, too, I still have a little bit of hope. Still a little bit of hope in me.
It's a bit. I'm being a little bit facetious, or I'm joking to an extent. I don't think the Yuri is over. I think there's plenty more for Lara and Mari to come. But it is an interesting angle to take the series now, and just on a meta level, I'm kind of worried that the reception to this episode might be a bit colder, just because there are so many people who are so deeply attached to Lara and Mari.
Yeah, I've been looking at some of the very early receptions. And it's like I haven't fully dived into the specific hyper-focused Goodbye Lara subreddit, which usually I don't tend to do because there could be very extreme opinions on places like those. But that place is very, from what I can gather, gung-ho about the Lara Mari ship, which this episode kind of maybe puts a wrench in, which is a bit dangerous for the general discourse.
Yeah, I'm too afraid to open Twitter. I'm too afraid. I'm like, I'll just pretend Twitter doesn't exist right now. Scary place.
Yeah, I mean, I have to ask, Mickle, if you are attached to this ship and just attached to the Yuri angle of the series, how did you feel about this episode? Did you like it?
Honestly, yeah. Honestly, I did like it.
Okay.
I think, obviously I have my preferences, obviously, but that being said, I think the very fact that Luca is such an interesting character made this very worthwhile for me personally. Once again, this series subverted expectations in a way that I was not expecting, especially with Luca as a character, because
absolutely,
I went in thinking, okay, the switch up here is going to be, he's actually really he's a bit of a loudmouth, he's a bit annoying, and really he plays a bit rough. But in reality, the only real I guess comparisons you can draw to the original Prince outside of the looks is the soft-spoken manner of the character. Yeah. He doesn't share the same elegance at all, which I really appreciated.
Yes.
I like that this dude just fumbles on the ground when he's walking, and the fact that he can't paint very well, I loved it. I loved that.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth, dude. That is one of the most pleasant things about this episode, is that I had 3 or 4 different ideas of what, this character could be, because we've been waiting to see him this entire series, and you kind of, imagine in your head, directions or aspects that they could implement for the sake of the story, and he's just literally nothing that I imagined him being. I love all these little quirks, his stupid clumsy falling down gag, or the fact that he is just this very soft, unmasculine character. I really like that he's kind of this more emotionally driven character. I kind of thought maybe that this incarnation of the Prince would be a very cool, detached guy. I love that he's not that. What about you, Brian? How did you kind of see him in this episode?
Yeah, I'm on the same line. We're talking about last time, this Luca could just very well just be a guy. He could just be some dude. He doesn't have any nefarious reasons for why he's approaching Lara. He genuinely wants to get to know Lara for who she is, and that playful side of him I thought was a really great contrast, because like what Mikkel was saying, his character in my mind, usually when we have that kind of the way they describe it in the show is he's a handsome dude and very stoic. He could have been way more extreme. but he's just kind of a goofy little guy, and his flaws kind of
He
help
is
that.
silly.
Yeah, he's like I didn't expect him to be that goofy. He just like he fell flat on his face 3 different times in the show, just like he just tripped on nothing just because. It's like, okay, he's just a very silly guy.
Yeah.
And even just the way he talks too, right? Like there's a lack of grace in it. Like it's very direct, but it's
Yeah.
also awkward, which I really appreciate. I feel seen.
Yeah, like I really, again, I appreciated how kind of like soft he was. Like you don't usually, especially like for some reason in Japanese media, maybe I'm crazy here, but like there tends to be like kind of a what's the word, like a stigma or like this unspoken rule that like male characters shouldn't cry or shouldn't show like more overt emotions, at least, you know, for a character of this sort. And I like that, you know, by the fucking end of this episode, he's crying. He's like he's very in touch with his emotions, I'll say. And I like that angle as a contrast to Lara, because you would think if you're pairing this character with Lara, you kind of want somebody who doesn't parallel her, like is very different and very, again, like I was thinking, some cool, detached, aloof person, but he's not that at all. And he actually does feel like very similar to Lara in a lot of ways. And I like that they went that direction with him.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool too about that directness is it does kind of flow back into Lara's character a bit. Like I feel in any other romance series, you know, the fact that Lara has this view of this person, this preconception because of her previous experiences, they would be avoiding them for a long time.
Yeah.
But I think she comes to terms with the fact that what she's doing is hypocritical within a day of treating him that way, and then decides I need to confront him and, you know, and like make this line very, very clear the episode after, the day after. And then they resolve their issue. Like they talk about it, which I think is like really cool. I don't think you'd get that usually. I feel like this would be a long drawn sort of thing. But yeah, I do appreciate that. Again, this series is being so quick and direct with certain things. And yeah, constantly keeping my toes in that regard.
Now, I'll just say on that note too, I was thinking of you know, if this is them pushing in a way, because I do think like the quickness, and there's I've seen some criticism of like the quickness of quote unquote this relationship developing, but I think especially by the end it felt less like, you know, maybe Luca feels one way about Lara, but I think Lara throughout the process is more concerned about making sure her past is resolved rather than like, oh, I'm now falling in love with Luca, but more so like there's this unresolved nature in Lara's past, and I really like, you know, the way it's done here, where it's like, to me it felt more like Lara is seeing Luca and seeing this prince, but less so about like, oh, I need to fall in love with him again, but more like I want to hear like what you really want to say without any of the preconceptions. Like I want to feel seen from Lara's perspective, and I just thought that like a little jokiness of like, oh, is the Yuri over? But I really think that this is just like a bit of a red herring. This is more about Lara confronting her past, more so confronting a potential love interest.
100% agree. These are the words right out of my mouth, to be honest. Because yeah, like I think in a way, this relationship felt a bit more systematic. Like it felt like they were trying to, you know, as you said, overcome past trauma in a way. And I guess in some ways you could just say that Luca is kind of this stimulus for that change, right? But you compare like that relationship to the organic nature of like Mari and Lara's at the start. Like it's built from a very small but earnest place, and then becomes what it is now. Like now they share a bedroom together. Like Lara still holds this little can with the flower. You know, like there's a lot more intimacy, I guess you could argue there. But I do think that like. As you kind of just said, it does feel a little bit more like a red herring than anything else. But that being said, what a great one to put in. Because I feel like Lara came a real long way in just this episode. Like I really came out feeling something for her character by the end of it.
Yeah, I definitely feel the red herring, and a comparison that comes to mind, I'm gonna spoil Fruits Basket for anybody here who has not seen Fruits Basket, but there's in the series Fruits Basket, you have this trio, the main trio, Toru, Kyo, and Yuki, and there's kind of this, in the beginning, there's this love triangle, usual kind of shoujo plot line as far as who's gonna win, who's gonna, get the romance or whatever. But what I love about Fruits Basket, and something I think this series might be heading in the same direction for, is kind of mistaken feelings. Like thinking you feel one way and then gradually realizing that you don't feel that way, or that those feelings are different than maybe you thought they were originally. And in Fruits Basket, what happens is Yuki gradually realizes that he doesn't have these romantic feelings for Toru, but they're more familial. Like it's an entirely different kind of love that he was feeling across the series. And sorry to spoil that. That's a beautiful fucking moment when that's,
that's
revealed.
Awesome.
But I think something similar might be happening here, where Lara, she thinks she feels this more romantic love for Luca, but I think what might end up happening is, Yuri bros, don't despair yet. I think what might end up happening is she realizes that she feels a different kind of love for him, like a more, it doesn't even have to have a name. Like, it doesn't have to be friend love or whatever. Like, she just loves him in a different way compared to, Mari or whoever else.
And I think the show also...
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And, when we see... it's that scene where it's like the quote-unquote first date. Lara doesn't even know what that means. But, they're out there. Luca brings her up to the top of the hill or mountain, and it's like all fogged up. And she gets that star transition because she sees the prince in him. But when we get to the very end and we have that moment, there is no like star, and her heart is not quote unquote moved. We learn in the middle like she could like control the dagger and all of that. And it's like, okay, so in this last moment, we don't get that very specific, very consistent way that the show has been showing us that these are important moments for these characters. We don't get that star at the end. It's just like they confront each other. She gets that closure, but it's not anything more from the way it's framed, which I think is important towards that point too. Like,
you're talking about the very last scene of the episode
of the before the credits,
before the fireworks.
Before the fireworks. Yeah.
Okay, I did not realize that that star didn't appear there. That is very interesting.
Yeah, that's a great pickup. That gives me hope.
I do think like with the way the show has been written, and it's like, I don't think that they would want like a one episode, let's speed run this relationship for both characters to fall in love. I think that's like not within their purview to do. So that's why that's like an extra factor where I'm like, I think this is a red herring. I think we're okay for now. We'll see what happens in the future. But like there was also, when we think about Himika's episode, that whole idea of like there is no like fate maybe isn't really a thing. We don't have to like put so much energy into thinking, oh, so and so is our chosen one. There's so many other options, and this is just like another factor into that. Like just like how Lara witnessed it happen firsthand, maybe subconsciously she could have it in her mind. Yes, there's this fated prince, but he doesn't have to be the one for me. And she has seen other people go through the same thing and be, fine with it.
Yeah. I would argue that I don't think that last scene like didn't affect her emotionally. Like it clearly, did resonate with her deeply. So I do wonder what the intent behind that star actually is, if it just relates to that true love, or if it's a bit more holistic and more universal as far as just any kind of resonant thing happening to her. Because I do think that she does love Luca, and I think that will be like a realization over the series, where she does love Luca and she reciprocates those feelings to an extent, but maybe she doesn't love him the same way that he loves her.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to like the different kinds of llove that the show could be. Yeah. And the answer to like, you must find true love, Lara, but what does that really mean? It's kind
Yeah.
of vague, and that could be a factor towards that.
Oh, speaking of vague, can we please talk about the dagger?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. That whole sequence was gnarly.
So cool.
I loved, like, you know, the idea of, like, this light being the physical manifestation of, like, Lara's heart. I think that's awesome. I think that's really,
cool,
really
yeah.
cool. And I do also, I don't know if I'm reading to this too much, but it feels like there's a bit of, like, a meta level to it. Like, how love physically can hurt other people. Like, it's not as
Yeah.
beautiful and charming as it always seems
Yeah,
to be.
absolutely.
Like, there's an actual toxicity to it. Because if we are to believe that, you know, yes, this monolith is the conceptualization of Lara's heart, Lara's love, the fact that we've seen it hurt other people in trying to protect those that she loves most, I think is really, really cool.
Yes.
Like, I think that's a really cool way of, I guess even to what? They describe it as a light, right?
Yeah.
And light can't exactly exist without the darkness, right?
Mhm.
I think it's really cool that this series does this, where, like, it plays on these really, I feel, quite delicate ideas, but does so with so much grace and subtlety that it really works. Like, it's not sugarcoating things in a way that I think most romance series would. So, but then again, this really is so much more than just a romance series at this point.
Yeah, well, that's a really great read on it, and I like how they handled that reveal on it, where, you know, at first in episode 1 you get this, you know, you get Lara's death scene and you get her kind of fading out of existence or whatever, and it's a very you know, tragic but beautiful scene. Like, we see Lara feels very innocent and very you know, like a tragic heroine. But then in this scene, I love how they kind of frame it like Lara forgot the darker aspects of
Yeah.
what happened, where, you know, she did have these, like, very dark, very you know, complex feelings. Like, she wanted to get revenge, basically. Like, she wanted him to understand her feelings, and she wanted him to understand her pain. And I love that, you know, we kind of recontextualize that scene, and it makes Lara a more interesting character as well, like having this love be, you know, both light and dark at the same time.
And it also plays into it too, because you know, when she has that breaking point, she still stops herself from hurting him.
Yeah.
You know. Ah, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it feels like we have a kind of clear understanding of that thing now, and I do like that, but it also feels like I don't fully understand its presence in the story now. Like, I thought we were kind of leading up to getting those answers by the end, and now I'm kind of wondering, I mean, it's not a bad thing at all. It's, yet again, something this series does all the time, where it kind of, it subverts where I think the story is going, but subverts it in a way where it does the things that I think it might, but it does them, like, way sooner than I expect. And now I'm kind of left wondering, like, okay, well then what do we do with this now that I kind of have a full understanding of it?
No, I was gonna say, while Lara was explaining, like, her revelation of, like, oh, the light has manifested into the dagger, I was like, okay, does that mean that the reason, or maybe part of the reason why the light from the kingdom has disappeared, and the reason why the dagger is so big now, is because, like, that's, like, all of the light from the kingdom has become that giant dagger?
Oh, okay.
Oh shit!
Because that was another thing I was wondering.
That's
Like,
cool.
yeah, why is this thing, like, so insanely big?
Yeah, like, when in the past it was like a little dagger that was just Lara's heart. But if we were to believe that she has now taken everybody's light, then, you know, naturally the size will grow into the giant monster we see now. And if they want to reclaim the light, that would probably mean the dagger, you know, shrinks back. You know, and I would assume it's something, you know, to do with that. But again, like that, they've answered it, yet also left enough open that we can still speculate. Like, yeah, I think it's a cool balance of, like, we've gotten the answers, but have we?
That's a gnarly theory, though.
Yeah, well, that gives me a thought about, like, where this series could go now. Like, if this dagger, or if this, like, thing in the sky is connected to this love that Lara feels, if she were to, you know, what we've been gradually building, like, Lara's love for humanity, if she were to, like, gradually have this love for everybody, in this city or just in this community. I could picture a finale where like she ends up taking all of their light as well, and like something has to, she has to sacrifice herself, or somebody has to come stop her from doing this. Like that gives me like ideas of finale shit, and I really like that.
Oh, how exciting! Ah, God, this series is so good, man.
It's the magic.
Holy
it's the
shit.
magic of originals. Like I like thinking about, where is this going? Nobody knows. It's cool.
That's the fun of it. It's the fun of it.
I will say, to tie back a bit into something Mikkel was talking about, if, for the first time in this entire series, if I were to not glaze something for a bit, it's I have to kind of put a filter on it or whatever. Like, this isn't necessarily a criticism, but it's something I was thinking about, and maybe it's, your influence, Mikkel, maybe it's other people's influence, but I was, thinking a bit more about the pacing in this episode, and I didn't. You were talking about like the latter half of the episode where that we kind of get into this relationship a bit quickly. I had no issue with that aspect personally. It was more so the first half of the episode where I started to kind of see the things that people complain about as far as why are we going through this so quickly? What's happening here? As far as I could have had, maybe this is just because I like the character so much, but I could have had 2 episodes of Luca and kind of having this relationship unfold a bit slower. But at the same time, I say it's not a criticism, because I also think that swiftness in their relationship unfolding in the first half is kind of says more about Luca as a character. Like, I feel like that's intentional on their part to kind of show how desperate he is for connection, and to paint Lara, or not just paint Lara, but like just grow closer to her. And you could even see in these like montages, like he was always the one initiating these conversations and texts. He's like, meet up with me, call me, or whatever. It was honestly a little bit weird, but I it felt also heartwarming and charming as well, because I know who he is. He's awkward and endearing. So I figured I would throw in just a little bit of, not really criticism, but acknowledgement of something that I think might bother people. But I guess it didn't bother any of us. So
yeah, I think that's fair. And with the way they've like characterized him, especially when we see like the way his paintings are and his like philosophy, like, oh, he wants to capture the true beauty. He feels very spontaneous in that way, especially like his paintings are like very like impressionistic. And so like I think that kind of personality of like, he's, the moment he feels something, he needs to like latch onto, he needs to like run towards his feelings. So that to me was like, oh, okay, that's the kind of character they're going for. So it made sense. I would still love to see more from him, especially because he has like that sibling that they just randomly threw at us as well. I was, like,
I was hoping to see more of her.
Oh, little Leo, what a joy.
I was hoping to see more of her, but yeah, we'll probably get more in a bit. I really hope, if I had an actual bit of criticism, like I can't like sugarcoat this. Like, I do think that Mari has been a bit in the background, like way more than I wish he was. Like, I wanted her at the beginning of the series. I thought she would be a much more prominent role in this story, and I hope she gets back in the forefront of this story, but I also hope Luca doesn't become like that kind of like, he's in the background with other stuff. Like, I think we've gotten our fill of like, montaging past all of these connections that Lara's making in this town, and I hope we kind of now start to kind of settle in this cast that we've made and tell more stories with them instead of just moving on.
Yeah, I agree. And it's also like, man, there's only five episodes left, and I did really feel it this episode too. Like, man, I think Mari has just kind of passed from like the first few episodes where she was really like the center. Now that we've gotten more of the cast, I feel like she's taken a step back, and I'm worried because at the very end of this episode, they were hinting that like with the blue shoes was Lisa. Like, is she there with them? So I think they might be.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. I thought those were like Lara's shoes or something. I did not even realize
I was questioning it, but because they were blue, I'm like, maybe Lisa's just found her way in and like she's just chilling, and it could be Lara's shoes, but because of the blue, I'm like, oh, is that Lisa? And
Yeah, I thought that was Lisa as well, but I might be wrong though.
Okay, like maybe you guys are right. I thought it was like Lara like getting dressed up for her date or whatever, and I thought the reveal was, oh, she's like melting, like you see the bubbles.
yeah,
on the...
that could be it too. But also because the last we saw of Lisa was they were getting messed up because they needed the potion, so it could be either or.
Yeah,
but it's like I have a weird feeling of like I want for them to like steer back to like get Mari back into the picture. Now that we have Luca, maybe they can balance things out. But if they want to like now throw a wrench with, oh, Lisa is making her move, because earlier in the episode Lisa was like, we can't let Grace like bully us. Like, oh, we need to do something. We know Grace is gonna put a foil to our plans. We need to act now. So I think we'll see, but I am hesitant to say if they're gonna how well they'll like get Mari back into the picture.
Actually, and looking at Lisa's character sheet, I think she's actually got yellow high heel shoes as opposed to blue ones. But I mean, again, that just could be
I mean, they gave Lara like 3 different outfits in this episode, so you never
true.
know.
That's so true.
But yeah, that's that pretty much covers everything that I thought about this episode. What about you guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's only a little thing I want to add that I really want to hear some more of the nerd stuff, because that's
nerd details.
My highlight of these episodes.
Of course,
nerd details are the best, dude. But yeah, actually, just speaking of Lisa real quick, one thing I also really enjoyed was that one shot when the fireworks are happening. It cuts to Lisa's room, and it's so far away from the fireworks compared to everybody else, which I think is just like a nice, subtle little detail, that adds to a character of she really is so distant from humanity. There is such a huge distance between her and them that I liked it. I was like, oh, that's a cute, horrific little detail.
Great pickup there. Yeah.
I really want more of her. I really hope that's like, we haven't hit everything. I mean, I mentioned in the last episode we did, like, I don't want her character to be completely wrapped up by now. I really, really hope there's a bit more to her, because she's a standout for me personally. So, but yeah, I definitely felt her absence in this episode, and it hurt me a little bit. But that's okay. We persevere.
And that's kind of why I also thought maybe, because I think in that shot of the room there was nobody there, like Kota or Lisa was not present, which is why I'm like, in my head I'm like, oh, did they go in the meantime and visit the house?
Yeah, it would be interesting though, because the whole point was that Kota was saying like, Grace is gonna fuck us up if we try to do this, so it's weird that they would go like straight to Grace and try to do something.
Yeah, true.
Maybe they have another plan, but yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I can't predict what this series is gonna do. That's the fun of it. But yeah, do we have nerd details in this episode?
Yeah, the first one is kind of tied to one of the comments. I was perusing some of the comments from the last week's episode. People were doing some more theorizing, doing some more discussions in our YouTube comments. And this one's from one of the users, the Pangolin. And it's at the very end of their comment where they were talking about, I'll read a bit of it. It says, did you guys see a theory that Kota is possibly trans-masculine, since the classic anglerfish silhouette is one that belongs to the female of the species? So, and the idea is like some of the way that episode is portraying Lisa, like humans have a very voyeuristic view of Lisa because she's a mermaid, and then the whole bit where like Rowan's pointing out her legs, like these ideas of like not fitting in, potentially fitting in that kind of reading. And I was thinking of that.
Oh, that's fucking
I was thinking about that. I'm like,
oh,
that's a really cool read. And I think that's a reading that I personally, because that's not like my where I generally look at things, because that's I'm more of a supporter of the things rather than in the forefront of that community. So I'm like, oh, I've never really considered that angle, but that's a really cool like reading of it. And in this episode, if you're listening to Pangolin, if you wanted more for that theory, during that scene where Luca's like, witness my beautiful paintings, and then to our eyes it's like, dude, these kind of look not that great. There's one where it's like, he's like, this is the sky, and it's like, dude, this is not a blue sky. There's no blue in this blue sky. And the next painting is like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a wet dog, and I'm like, oh, I can kind of see it. There's a blue there, and that's like the wetness. And right after that, these are very true. Like, I think the way it's set up, I think it's very purposeful. Like, these are two very funny. Like, dude, what are you doing? But then he says, this is myself. He is a painting of himself, is his true self, and the way he's drawn himself, from my eyes, feels like he's drawn himself maybe more feminine. The way the painting is, there's the hair is slightly longer than the way he is right now, and that idea of like, you want to draw your true self, and it's different from how you look right now. That gives me that kind of trans reading as well. Not particularly, not particularly.
That'd be really sweet.
Saying that Luca is, but I think that adds to that kind of reading. Maybe not trans, but like a queer reading. And also,
well, before you continue, I'll just add on to that. Like, I think that would also add a lot to his emotional reaction by the end of this episode, where he's talking about like, oh, you love me because I'm a human or something. Like,
right?
Maybe that hits a little closer for him, just because he already doesn't feel accepted, and now he's kind of getting that from Lara as well. So yeah, very very good read there. I like that.
And like, just like a very tiny note, Leo is like, the way Leo, and maybe that's just a kid thing, because Leo uses boku, which is, I believe, or from what I can tell, is like more of a masculine eye that like boys would use. And that could be, but maybe that's just a kid thing. Maybe because Leo's a kid.
I think she's just a tomboy.
Could just be that. But
hey, Phenom from the future here. It turns out that Brian is completely correct and I am completely wrong. Leo is a boy, as confirmed by the official Twitter account. So if you're writing in the comments correcting us or telling us that Leo is a boy, well, feel free to write those comments anyways. But I know, and I have now told the others, so don't worry. We know.
I think the painting thing has a little bit more credence. And again, just like, oh, why do you not love me because I love that? Yeah, do you not love me because I'm a human? And if he's already having self-acceptance issues, that all kind of ties back. And I think that's good feel for that as well.
Yeah, I really like that read.
One more thing in that painting scene. The last painting we see is Lara's painting, which also looks very goofy. The face is, of course, the thing they focus on because it's a very funny face. But in that painting, I noticed there was this, Lara is very red. That makes sense. That's Lara. But in the corner, there's like a blue fin, and I think that's like, Luca obviously has no clue. I think he's just doing his painterly, like, oh, he's a painter. This is the beauty, and maybe the blue is symbolizing the ocean. But that could also be Lisa, like just in a subtle detail, like if Lara's true beauty, if this is what Luca's capturing, well, he doesn't realize it, but I think this is kind of a play on, like, if Lara really wants to like reconcile and find true love, she also needs to reconcile with the people around her, like Lisa, as shown in the painting. With her, to find her true beauty, she needs to like make sure everybody around her, including her family that is kind of hates humans, she needs to reconcile with them too. And I think that's you could read into Lara's painting in that way too.
So just on a thematic
level,
spiritual level, he is like seeing part of Lisa as a part of Lara.
Yeah, obviously he doesn't know it, but like I think with how much details are in the show.
Like a fun pattern recognition for the viewers too.
Yeah,
like it just it gives them that little like a little nudge, Yeah, that's quite cool.
And I think like a lot of people were also be like, oh. The reason why in last episode the clinic was named Otsu is because it might just be like the capital. It was like a town's name, not like Mari's name.
Okay.
And, which fair enough, but because the director has
come
said,
on, dude, that can't just be a coincidence, though.
I want to believe this. Yeah, I also want to believe that there's more to it than that. But just like the idea of like the creators and the team have put a lot of effort into like recreating scenes from like the actual real life location. So like there's a lot of details, and I think them adding a little detail in a random painting, a comic relief setting scene could mean much more. But yeah.
I mean, I thought the paintings were. Oh, sorry, Michael. Very quick comment here. I was just gonna say I thought the paintings were just very evocative in general, and I think that was intentional. Like I wasn't really laughing at the paintings. Like I just felt like very intrigued by what I was looking at, and I do think that was intentional on their part.
And all I was going to say is, in relation to those paintings, in a world full of AI generative art, I would pick Luca's paintings in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, just it's getting kind of boring saying it, but just another great episode. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I kind of hope there's like a blunder at some point. We have like something we can really sink our teeth into. But no, so far it's been hitting good. So
this episode, I enjoyed the episode. It really did feel like kind of a calm before the storm, especially with how I think like they're setting up all of the stuff with Lara's heart. Maybe Lisa's at the end. Lisa's making her move. But I think they did a great job bringing Luca in a way that I didn't expect, and making him much more endearing than I thought.
Oh yeah, just I can't sing enough praises about Luca as well. Very, very endearing and very charming, and just not the kind of character that you really see that much these days. And I hope he has a lasting role in the rest of the story. I hope Mari has a lasting role in the rest of the story. I hope neither of them die. I don't think they will, but let's hope that doesn't happen. And just give me a happy ending. It's a fairy tale. Give me a happy ending for all three of them.
Maybe sayonara. Sayonara Lara isn't a bad goodbye,
Yeah.
It's a happy goodbye.
She's just going back home. That's why she's saying goodbye.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me again. As always, make sure to check out both of their channels in the description below. Check out my channel in the description below. And with that, we will see you next week.
until then.
See you guys next time.